Welcome back to GS Coins, the place where history, money, and the fascinating world of coin collecting come together. If you're someone who's ever emptied out a jar of old coins, dug through pocket change, or stumbled upon a handful of old dimes at a garage sale, then this video is for you. Today, we are going to uncover the hidden secrets behind one of the most intriguing coins from American numismatics, the 1968 Roosevelt dime. At first glance, this coin may appear like any ordinary 10-cent piece, but as we explore its history, unique varieties, potential errors, and market value in today's collector economy, you'll quickly realize that some of these coins, especially in top-grade condition or with specific mint marks, can be worth far more than you think. So stay with us as we take a deep dive into everything you need to know about the 1968 one-dime coin. Let's start with the origins of the Roosevelt dime series. Introduced in 1946, just 1 year after President Franklin D. Roosevelt's death, the dime was redesigned to honor his legacy, particularly his efforts in founding the March of Dimes, which helped fight polio. Prior to Roosevelt, the dime featured the Mercury design, which many collectors also admire. The Roosevelt design, created by John R. Sinek, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint, was meant to be simple, clean, and dignified, fitting for a man who guided America through the Great Depression and World War II. The obverse of the coin features Roosevelt's profile facing left, while the reverse displays a torch in the center, representing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace on the left, and an oak branch symbolizing strength and victory on the right. The motto, E Pluribus Unum, stretches across the lower middle of the reverse, and the words, United States of America, and one dime, encircle the edges. Now, fast forward to 1968. This was a critical year for U.S. coinage, as it marked the continuation of major changes in American coin production. In 1965, the U.S. Mint had already moved away from using silver in dimes and quarters due to rising silver prices. So, by 1968, the dime was composed of a clad structure, a pure copper core sandwiched between outer layers of copper-nickel, which is 75% copper and 25% nickel. That change drastically affected not only the appearance and feel of the coin, but also its long-term collector appeal and intrinsic metal value. A pre-1965 dime contains 90% silver and thus has melt value, but a 1968 dime is generally only worth its face value in terms of metal content. However, what elevates its collectible value is a combination of mint marks, condition, minting errors, and historical context. In 1968, the dime was minted at 3 U.S. mint facilities, Denver, San Francisco, and Philadelphia. Let's break down the differences. The 1968 D dime, the most common, was struck at the Denver Mint and features a small D mint mark to the right of Roosevelt's neck, just above the date. The 1968 S dime was a special proof coin made only at the San Francisco Mint and never intended for circulation. It carries an S mint mark and is found mostly in proof sets. And finally, while Philadelphia also produced dimes in 1968, no circulation coins from Philadelphia were released with a P mint mark at that time. In fact, dimes from Philadelphia had no mint mark at all, which makes it more challenging to identify their origin without detailed records. Let's now discuss the Denver Mint issue, the 1968 D dime. In average circulated condition, meaning the coin has been used in daily transactions and shows wear on Roosevelt's hair, cheek, and the torch details on the reverse, this coin is still only worth 10 cents to maybe 25 cents. It remains extremely common in pocket change even today. However, the real value emerges when we look at coins that have been preserved in mint state condition. A 1968 D dime graded MS-60, which means it has no signs of wear but might have a few small bag marks, can sell for around $100. An MS-65 example, which has excellent luster, a clean surface, and minimal flaws, can be valued between $300 and $700. But in the higher ranges of MS-67 and MS-68, things get exciting. These top-grade examples are rare, and collectors are often willing to pay $300, $500, or even over $1,000 for a 1968 D dime in pristine, uncirculated condition certified by top graders like NGC or PCGS. A recent MS-68 example of the 1968 D dime sold at auction for nearly $1,500, not bad for a coin that most people still overlook. We now turn to the 1968 S-proof dime. These coins were never released for general use and were only available in special collector proof sets. A 1968 S-proof dime has a brilliant, mirror-like surface and was struck at least twice to ensure sharp details. A standard proof in average condition might sell for $100 to $200, but one with deep cameo contrast, meaning a frosted image with a mirror background, is more desirable. In PR 68 to PR 70 deep cameo condition, these coins can reach values of $100 to $400. While that may not seem huge, remember that proof dimes are limited in number, and demand is growing as more collectors complete full-proof sets for their Roosevelt dime collections. Although there's no known major no-S variety for the 1968 dime, mint errors are still possible and highly collectible. These include off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing due to misalignment, broad strikes, where the rim isn't properly formed, clipped planchets, where a piece of the coin is physically missing, and double die errors, where some parts of the design appear to be duplicated. A 1968 dime with one of these errors can be worth anywhere from $250 to over $700 depending on the severity and how well the error displays. In general, errors that are bold, visible without magnification, and affect major parts of the design fetch higher prices. One of the most desirable grading qualities in a Roosevelt dime is what's known as full bands or full torch designation. This means that the horizontal bands in the torch on the reverse are fully visible and sharply struck. Coins with this designation, especially in higher mint states, command strong premiums. A full band's 1968 D dime in MS 67 or higher can easily sell for over $1,000 to the right buyer or collector. The popularity of Roosevelt dimes among collectors has grown over time, particularly for those who collect full-date sets from 1946 to the present. These collectors are not just looking for one dime from each year, they want dimes from each mint, in high grade, with full torch designation, and preferably slabbed and graded by a reputable service. As more collectors pursue these complete sets, demand for the highest quality examples continues to rise. Even coins like the 1968 D or 1968 S, which are common in circulation or proof sets, can rise dramatically in value if they meet high-quality standards. So what does all this mean for you? If you've got a 1968 dime, don't dismiss it as just spare change. Take the time to examine it under a magnifying glass. Look for the mint mark. Assess the sharpness of the strike. Look for errors or irregularities. If you believe the coin is in uncirculated or proof condition, especially with deep cameo contrast or full bands on the torch, it might be worth submitting for professional grading. Graded coins carry more trust and often fetch higher prices in online auctions and collector markets. Even if you decide not to sell, simply knowing that your coin has collector value is exciting and adds to the satisfaction of the hobby. Next up, the 1969 Roosevelt dime with the Denver D mint mark. At first glance, you might not think twice about a simple 10-cent coin from 1969. But as we'll uncover in this video, even a common-looking coin can become something special depending on its condition, strike, and unique attributes. Stay tuned as we explore the history, minting process, market trends, and collector value of this seemingly ordinary coin that may still be hiding in your pocket or coin jar. To begin, we need to understand where the 1969 D Roosevelt dime fits in the broader timeline of U.S. coinage. The Roosevelt dime was first minted in 1946, replacing the Mercury dime, which had been in circulation since 1916. The Roosevelt dime was chosen not only to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt following his death in 1945 but also to recognize his role in founding the March of Dimes, a campaign to combat polio. Designed by John R. Sinek, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint at the time, the Roosevelt dime carries a clean, modern portrait of the president on the obverse, or front, of the coin. The reverse features a torch representing liberty, flanked by an olive branch symbolizing peace and an oak branch for strength. This design remains largely unchanged to this day, making it one of the longest-running series in U.S. coin history. The 1969 D dime was struck at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by a small D mint mark found just above the date on the obverse. By 1969, the composition of U.S. dimes had changed significantly from earlier decades. Due to the rising cost of silver, the U.S. Mint had transitioned in 1965 from 90% silver dimes to a clad composition. That means the 1969 D dime consists of an inner core of pure copper, sandwiched between outer layers of cupronickel. While this change eliminated the silver melt value of the coin, it opened up a new world of collecting, especially for high-grade mint state coins and rare mint errors. Even without silver content, coins like the 1969 D. Roosevelt dime can be surprisingly valuable under the right conditions. Now let's look at mintage. In 1969, the Denver Mint produced over 563 million Roosevelt dimes. That's a huge number, which explains why this coin is still found in pocket change today. However, as every experienced coin collector knows, it's not just about how many coins were minted, it's about how many survived in high-quality, uncirculated condition. Coins that have been used in circulation almost always develop wear, nicks, and discoloration over time. But coins that were pulled from rolls or mint sets early and kept in pristine condition may be worth far more today than their face value. So what is a 1969 D dime worth today in circulated condition? In most cases, if your coin has wear on Roosevelt's cheek, the torch details are faded, and the surface shows contact marks or dullness, the value remains very close to face, usually between 10 cents and 25 cents. This is because millions of these coins were used in everyday transactions, and only exceptional examples bring premiums in the collector market. However, the story changes dramatically when we start talking about uncirculated and mint state coins. If your 1969 D dime is in mint state, meaning it has no signs of wear and maintains its original luster, it can fetch a higher price depending on the grade. A coin in MS-60 to MS-63 condition might be worth anywhere from $1 to $3, while an MS-65 example, which shows sharp detail, minimal marks, and strong eye appeal, can be worth $5 to $10. The real jump in value occurs with coins graded MS-67 or higher, especially if they display what collectors call full bands or full torch designation. This means that the horizontal lines in the torch on the reverse are fully separated and well-defined, indicating a strong strike from fresh dies. These full torch examples in high grade are rare and desirable, and can easily sell for $50, $100, or even more in certified slabs from grading companies like PCGS or NGC. Auction records reveal just how valuable these coins can become. For instance, in 2022, a PCGS-certified MS-68 full torch 1969 D. Roosevelt dime sold at auction for nearly $300. That's right, a 10-cent coin selling for nearly $300 simply because of its exceptional quality and strong strike. The number of surviving coins in this condition is extremely low, making them valuable to serious Roosevelt dime collectors who are putting together registry sets. These collectors compete to find the highest grade examples from each year in mint, and they are willing to pay a premium for top-tier coins. Now, let's explore another area that can increase a 1969 D dime's value: mint errors and die varieties. Every year, a small number of coins are produced with mistakes due to worn dies, misalignment, planchet issues, or other mechanical faults. Some of the most valuable 1969 D dime errors include off-center strikes, where the design is partially missing due to incorrect die alignment. A dramatic off-center dime, where 30% or more of the design is missing, can easily sell for $500 to $1,500 or more. Another common error is the clipped planchet, where a curved section of the coin is literally missing due to a mistake during the blanking process. These can also sell for $400 to $1,000, depending on the visibility of the clip and the overall condition of the coin. As always, coins with errors should be authenticated and graded by a professional service to ensure maximum value when selling or auctioning. The collector demand for Roosevelt dimes has grown steadily in recent years, particularly among younger collectors who appreciate the accessibility and affordability of this series. Building a complete date and mint set of Roosevelt dimes, including high-grade examples and special varieties like full torch strikes, is a popular and satisfying goal. That means demand for well-preserved examples from years like 1969 is only increasing, especially for coins with eye-catching luster, minimal contact marks, and strong detail. So, what should you do if you have a 1969 D dime? First, examine it closely. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to look at the date, mint mark, and torch detail on the reverse. Is the coin heavily worn or does it still have its original shine? Do the torch bands appear fully separated, or are they weak and faded? Look at the coin's rim for signs of errors, such as a misaligned die or a planchet clip. If the coin appears to be in excellent condition and possibly uncirculated, it may be worth submitting for professional grading, especially if it's a strong full torch example. In conclusion, while most 1969 D Roosevelt dimes are only worth face value, select examples, especially those in top-grade mint condition or featuring rare errors, can be quite valuable in today's coin market. A coin you once overlooked might be hiding serious collector appeal and hidden dollar value. As always, knowledge is power in coin collecting, and understanding the fine details of coins like the 1969 D-dime can help you identify treasures in your collection or pocket change. Next up, the legendary 1975 Roosevelt dime with no mint mark. This is not just a coin, it's a true numismatic mystery. A dime that should not exist. A coin that has stunned collectors, shocked experts, and fetched tens of thousands of dollars at auction. If you've ever thought of dismissing a simple dime in your pocket as worthless, this episode may change your mind forever. Let's begin by putting the Roosevelt dime into historical perspective. Introduced in 1946, the Roosevelt dime honored President Franklin D. Roosevelt, whose leadership during the Great Depression and World War II made a lasting impact on the United States. More importantly, he played a key role in founding the March of Dimes, which made the dime the perfect denomination to bear his image. Designed by John R. Sinek, the Roosevelt dime features the president's profile on the obverse and a torch flanked by olive and oak branches on the reverse. That design continues to this day, making it one of the most enduring coin designs in U.S. history. Fast forward to 1975, a year of transition, celebration, and preparation. The U.S. Mint was gearing up for the National Bicentennial Celebration in 1976, and coins bearing dual dates, 1776 to 1976, were already in production for the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins. However, the Roosevelt dime, along with the Lincoln cent and Jefferson nickel, retained their single-year date in 1975. As a result, 1975 dimes should be very straightforward. But that's where the mystery begins. In 1975, the U.S. Mint struck Roosevelt dimes at two locations, Philadelphia and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint traditionally did not place a mint mark on coins during this period, so any 1975 Roosevelt dime without a mint mark should, in theory, have been produced in Philadelphia. That's completely normal. But the San Francisco Mint, on the other hand, produced only proof coins, special, highly polished coins made for collectors. These proof coins were intended to always carry an S mint mark. Yet, by a stunning and inexplicable mistake, at least two proof dimes struck at the San Francisco Mint in 1975 were released without the S mint mark. These are now known as the 1975 No S Roosevelt proof dimes, and they are among the rarest U.S. coins of the 20th century. To understand how rare this coin is, you need to consider this: only two confirmed examples of the 1975 No S Roosevelt proof dime are known to exist in the world. That's right, just two. This coin is not something you find in pocket change, and it was never meant to reach the public. But somehow, due to a mechanical error or quality control oversight, at least two 1975 proof dimes were struck without the required S mint mark and accidentally included in proof sets sold by the Mint. This error makes the 1975 No S dime not only ultra-rare but a dream find for serious collectors and investors. In the world of coin collecting, rarity is everything. And when a coin has a known population of just two, and both are proof strikes with deep cameo contrast, it becomes more than a collector's item. It becomes a legend. The last time one of these 1975 No S dimes appeared at auction, it was certified by PCGS as PR68 Deep Cameo and sold for $456,000. That's nearly $500,000 for a coin most people would mistake for pocket change. What makes this even more astounding is that the coin had no silver content, no precious metal. It's made of standard copper-nickel clad composition. Its entire value lies in the fact that it should not exist. Now, let's be clear. Most 1975 Roosevelt dimes without a mint mark are perfectly normal and were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. These are not rare and typically are worth their face value, around 10 cents, unless they are in pristine uncirculated condition. A high-grade 1975 dime from Philadelphia, if graded MS 65 or higher, might fetch $100 to $500. But these common no-mint mark dimes are not what we're discussing today. The real value comes from the proof coins, which should always have an S mark. If a 1975 proof dime is missing that S, you could be looking at one of the most valuable modern coins in the world. This raises an important question: how can you tell if you have a 1975 No S proof dime? The first thing is to check the finish. A regular circulation dime will have a standard matte finish, but a proof coin will have a mirror-like background and frosted raised designs. Proof dimes also have much sharper edges and more refined details. If you own a 1975 dime that looks unusually shiny, has a mirror-like surface, and does not have an S mint mark, then you might be in possession of something very rare. However, because this is such a high-stakes coin, it is essential to have it professionally examined and graded by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate whether it is a legitimate no-S proof or just a regular Philadelphia strike. Even beyond the ultra-rare no-S variety, the 1975 Roosevelt dime has become increasingly popular among date and mint collectors. Some people attempt to assemble full sets of Roosevelt dimes from 1946 to the present, including proof and business strikes, varieties, and mint errors. The 1975 no-S dime is considered the holy grail of such a collection, and for good reason. Because of its rarity, it is nearly impossible to complete the full proof set without it, which keeps demand high and value rising. In addition to the no-S proof variety, some 1975 dimes have been found with minor errors such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks. While these errors are not worth hundreds of thousands, they can still fetch anywhere from $200 to $100 depending on their severity and condition. A dramatic off-center dime or a perfectly clipped coin will often be bought quickly by error collectors. So what's the takeaway? While almost all 1975 Roosevelt dimes with no mint mark are common and were made in Philadelphia, there are two known proof coins with no mint mark that were mistakenly struck at the San Francisco Mint. These rare errors were not intended to exist and were never supposed to reach the public. But they did. And now, they represent a modern-day treasure, a coin that could be hiding unnoticed in an old proof set or inherited collection. It's a reminder that even a dime, yes, a simple 10-cent piece, can hold a value of $500,000 or more, if it has the right combination of history, rarity, and minting error. Next up, the 1977 Roosevelt dime with the D mint mark, struck at the Denver Mint. While millions of these dimes were produced, some examples, especially those in pristine condition or with rare errors, can be worth far more than their 10-cent face value. So stay with us as we reveal the full collector's story, pricing guide, mint history, and hidden gems connected to the 1977 D dime. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, following the death of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who had led the United States through the Great Depression and most of World War II. The dime was chosen specifically to honor Roosevelt's connection to the March of Dimes, a public health campaign dedicated to fighting polio. Designed by John R. Sinek, the Roosevelt dime has remained largely unchanged for nearly 80 years, with its dignified portrait of Roosevelt on the obverse and a symbolic torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse. These three symbols together represent liberty, peace, and strength, core American values that defined the mid-20th century era. By 1977, the U.S. Mint had already shifted away from using silver in dimes, following the Coinage Act of 1965. That means the 1977 D Roosevelt dime is a clad coin, made with a copper core and outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel. It has no silver content, so its melt value is low, but that doesn't mean it's worthless to collectors. Many modern clad coins are now gaining attention from serious numismatists, especially when they exist in pristine mint state condition or feature unique mint errors that occurred during the striking process. The Denver Mint, which placed a D mint mark on its coins, produced over 345 million Roosevelt dimes in 1977. That makes the 1977 D one of the more common Roosevelt dimes in terms of total mintage. However, even within that massive number, there are still coins that stand out because of their grade, strike quality, or rare errors that make them highly sought after in today's market. So let's talk about value, starting with circulated coins. If you have a 1977 D dime that has seen daily use, showing signs of wear on Roosevelt's face, flat spots on the torch design, or surface discoloration, then its value is most likely face value, 10 cents. These well-worn examples are still very common and are not considered collectible unless they contain a striking error or unusual feature. However, if your coin has been preserved in excellent condition, meaning no signs of wear, sharp detail, and original mint luster, then it may qualify as a mint state coin. Mint state coins are graded on a scale from MS 60 to MS 70, and the higher the grade, the higher the potential value. A 1977 D. Roosevelt dime in MS-63 condition typically sells for $1 to $2, while an MS-65 example, a coin with great eye appeal and only minimal contact marks, can fetch $3 to $6. As we move into MS-66 and MS-67 territory, prices begin to climb more noticeably. These coins are much rarer in the population because very few survive decades without any flaws. A 1977 D dime in MS-67 condition is valued between $25 and $50, depending on whether it has been graded and slabbed by a respected grading service like PCGS or NGC. But here's where things really get interesting: the full bands or full torch designation. On the reverse of the dime, the torch has two horizontal bands. If those bands are fully struck and separated, without any flatness or merging, the coin may receive the coveted full bands designation, often abbreviated as FB on grading slabs. This designation significantly increases the value of the coin. A 1977 D. Roosevelt dime in MS-67 full bands condition can sell for $100 to $250 at auction. The record price for this coin category was set when a stunning MS-68 full bands 1977 D dime sold for nearly $400, which is extraordinary for a coin that originally cost only 10 cents. Another element that can boost the value of your 1977 D dime is the presence of mint errors or striking anomalies. Common and desirable errors include off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and even doubled dies. An off-center 1977 D dime where the design is struck noticeably out of alignment, say 30% or more off-center, can sell for $50 to $150 depending on condition and visual appeal. A clipped planchet error, where a curved portion of the coin is missing, can fetch a similar price. And while no major double die varieties are known for the 1977 D dime, minor doubling or other die anomalies can still attract collectors and sell for $20 to $100. Let's now turn our attention to grading, because this plays a massive role in determining value. The difference between MS-65 and MS-67 may sound small, but it often means the difference between a $5 coin and a $50 coin. For this reason, many collectors and dealers choose to have their best condition coins professionally graded and authenticated by major grading services such as PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. These services assign an official grade, seal the coin in a protective holder, and often provide additional designations like full bands if applicable. Slabbed coins also inspire buyer confidence and can sell for significantly more than raw, ungraded examples. The 1977 D. Roosevelt dime also plays an important role in registry sets, where collectors compete to build the finest sets of coins by year and mint mark. A registry collector looking to complete a full Roosevelt dime set from 1946 through today will need a top-quality example of the 1977 D, and the competition to find high-grade full-band specimens keeps demand strong, especially for MS-67 and above. To summarize, the 1977 D. Roosevelt dime is a common clad coin in circulation, but it holds hidden value when preserved in mint state condition. Circulated examples are worth face value, but uncirculated coins, especially those with full bands or certified high grades, can fetch prices ranging from a few dollars to several $100s. Rare errors, perfect strikes, and coins with excellent eye appeal only add to the value. If you have rolls of dimes or coin folders from the 1970s, it's definitely worth checking your 1977 D dimes carefully. Use a magnifying glass to check for sharp detail on the torch, examine the mint mark, and compare your coin to grading images online to estimate its value. Thank you for joining us today here on GS Coins, where we bring to life the stories and value behind coins both common and rare. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the 1977 D. Roosevelt dime, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you never miss our latest uploads, from penny values to rare quarter errors and more. And don't forget to drop a comment. Have you found a valuable Roosevelt dime in your collection? Do you own a 1977 D dime in mint state? Or is there another coin you'd love us to cover next? Until then, keep hunting, keep learning, and never underestimate the coins in your change, because even the smallest denominations can carry incredible stories and hidden value. This is GS Coins, your gateway into the fascinating world of American coin collecting.